Okay.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gail. Well, I have the honor to welcome you all here to our first round table. It really is an honor, and we're very happy that you have followed our calling to join here in our gathering. And as you might be aware,
Hi.
Gail and I, we had founded the Academy of Timeless Wisdom last year, and we started our first year with topics such as fear and control and death, life, and the aftermath, and forgiveness. And we had been talking about those topics obviously before a lot. And we always said it would be really, really nice, and we would appreciate so much to talk about those topics and have more perspectives on them with a group of wisdom keepers and elders, and also have a sharing of these perspectives and possibly take aspects and continue to share them to our communities. And that's how we got the idea of the round table. And maybe I just quickly say a few words of how I met Gail. I met her 2 years ago on the island of Hawaii, big island of Hawaii, and we were at a joint shaman seminar, and she was sitting in the corner of a living room, and she was watching everything. For me, she was like Spider Woman sitting there. She was completely alert, and I could feel that she was noticing all the movements of the room. And I was going in there and I thought, like, woof, what kind of woman is that? And I was kind of crawling, I did a big circle around her and I was crawling along the walls. And I'm like, I'm not gonna get too near to her. And I went into my bedroom and dropped off my suitcase. And then someone started to chant. And the chanting was so strong and powerful that it was kind of shaking the walls of the house and my bones and everything. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I am in the house of mad people here, and I hope I'm going to survive it. So a few days later, we walked across a lava field together, and I noticed that she was a bit wobbly and she had a cane, and so I offered my help. And we started talking. And when we started talking, I realized here's a person I can ask everything about everything. I can ask her about life, death, and the aftermath, about conversations with spirits, about changing into animals, being the elementals, calling in the dragon energy, just everything. And she was so, I mean, she was just so, you were just so open in just, speaking whatever you have to say about it. And I've never ever experienced that before. And I was very, very grateful. And then you said to me, I'm going to be in Bavaria in 4 weeks. And, here I went to Hawaii for a whole day, 24 hours on a flight, meeting a woman from Canada who's going to be in Bavaria, like 2 hours away from my second home. And I thought, I can't believe this. So she was giving a workshop on awakening the dragon energy. And of course, I went there and things just went on. And I invited her to my house last year. She was in my house for 2 weeks last year. We met a lot of people from the local communities. She did some drum ceremonies at a local Pachamama camp with 100 people, lots of children as well. It was just a blast. We had so much fun. And then we went to Iceland afterwards, and we did some major ceremonies on Iceland. And it was just, this is when the idea of the Academy was born, because I realized there's so much wisdom there, and I would love to sort of structure it so that the stories that Gail has to share and is sharing very openly all the time, the stories and the teachings would come hand in hand, and then people can understand how they could apply it, how they could apply them to their lives. And one of the ideas is of this roundtable is really to learn and listen to your unique perspectives about the topics. We have a few topics we've chosen, but they don't need to be those topics. There can be other topics. Maybe there can be topics there of interest to you, and we can share them here and do a ceremony also in order to dissolve whatever obstacle there is with those topics. And the first topic for today was collective anxiety, because I have the feeling everybody, including me, is most of the time in this net of collective society and struggling to open up and also, tell other people, my kid and everybody, how to not only be in that state. So that was our suggestion for today. And before I hand over to Gail, I would love to say we are recording this, and we want to, take the gems out of it, also the quotes from different people, different subjects, and see what we can do with it. And you're, of course, very welcome to use the recordings for your own purposes, and the support of each other in whatever we are planning for this year and for next year is, that's a huge thing for us. So please use it however you would like to use it. And we would suggest Gail is opening our circle with a little ceremony. And then we have a brief introduction just by everybody, 1 or 2 sentences or 3 mostly, because we already have a lot of information on each other, just to know, okay, this is the face to the name and the life. And then we go into the topic. I have a little sistrum here. Don't know whether you know this. This is imported from Egypt only a few months ago. It's with a Hathor goddess on it. And I do this if people, if there's maybe a little bit of a longer contribution, I'm like, okay. And so we know, let's get moving to the next person, if that's okay. I hope that's okay for you. Otherwise, let's start. Thank you very much. Gail, please.
Ah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was quite the our beginnings were funny, very funny. And we've had quite a few adventures together already since that beginnings, especially Iceland. Now I'm lighting the world peace candle, and we were going to have everyone light a candle as well, but we forgot to mention to bring a candle. If you have one handy, go ahead and light it. It will take a minute, but if you don't have one handy, that's fine. Just the light in your heart is perfect. And the World Peace Candle. I am the carrier of the World Peace Candle now for 11 years. And it originated in the 4 directions. In the east, it originated in Jerusalem. In the north, the flame was lit by I think the Princess of Norway, and in the west, it was Western Canada and an Indigenous elder in Western Canada, and in the south, the flame was lit in Mexico. So the 4 flames were brought together to create the World Peace Candle from the 4 directions, and the premise of it is the collective consciousness, the consciousness of peace. And that's why the topic today being the collective anxiety, which is what a lot of people are experiencing. And we are the teachers who understand the collective consciousness and how it works and how we can impact it. So by using our wisdom and experiences, we can help share in this communication to those in the community and beyond, how each of us are dealing with that collective consciousness and the collective anxiety. And this is the collective consciousness of world peace in the World Peace Candle. So I'm going to plug in my external speaker for my drum ceremony. So if I get everybody on, I'll just make sure my mic's on. Yep, it is. Okay.
Maybe do a few tones, Gail, because you're not being heard very well. No.
Oops, I forgot to turn the music on. Sorry. One. There. So this is called horse medicine, and this is the first drum that I learned to play when the ancestors came to me and said, your first drum needs to be a Celtic drum because your first task is to heal your Celtic ancestors. And so that took me 4 years to finally forgive them all because they did a lot of damage. And so that's why the Celtic drum was my first drum. And what I play on it is called horse medicine. There. Welcome to my world. Gallop, gallop, gallop. The year of the horse, which is woohoo! I'm in my glory. So what we want to do is go around and have each of you introduce yourself. Suzanne, well, we'll come back to Suzanne at the end because she sort of introduced the academy, but she hasn't introduced herself. So we'll get her to do that at the end. And I'm looking at, to my right on the screen is Sandra.
Thank you, Gail. How's the audio? Little reverb.
Yeah,
You need to unmute the microphone. There's an echo. Turn up. Sorry about that. Some things. How about that? Is that better?
That's better.
I just lowered the volume. Thank you all. It's wonderful to be here with all you magnificent energies, female, women energies. I am feeling very close to my circles of women these days. I was drawn to Global Grandmothers about a year and a half ago, and that's how I met Gail. I am a retired high school English teacher. Currently, my work is with a play that I've written about the current conflict that has so intensified since October 7th in the Middle East. I'm of Jewish ethnicity, and I am grappling with my Jewish values and the conduct of Israel. That's my narrow focus. All of my work, my days are about honing my script and about honing my performance, because we will be going to Israel in a couple of months. And I want to bring my play, like the World Peace Candle, around the world to bring the message, with many, many different characters from all sides of the conflict. I'm proud of my work, and I thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to hearing from all of you and all of your wisdoms. Sandy, bowing out.
Thank you, dear. Thank you very much. And yeah, and it's because of Sandra that I got to go to Mexico, because her interview with me reached a friend, Lutz Clara, who invited me to Mexico, where I got to meet Zentold. So I go leads into Zentold next.
Good morning. Hold up. Can you hear me well now?
Yes.
Hey, please. I hit it like with seconds apart the sound, but
I'm going to try to do it, okay? Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I had the opportunity to turn on a little candle, and because here we are, yes, the roots are Mexicans, but we understand we are in the time of only one human tree, and that is what we would love to really live and vibrate inside. No, so this one comes from the Celta world in Avalon, was bring to me for my biggest daughter the last year, and I love it. I really love it because it's totally the work that we are doing today. So honoring these beautiful girls also in my hands, I can share with you that I'm just a medicine woman. I am 50 years old, and since 26 years before I start walking this path on Mother Earth with my duality, Tonawaka Cuauhtlinchan, that comes with a line of Mexican oral tradition. And they are passing all this information through 19 generations now. Our kids, that we have 3 women, are the next generation. Well, are the actual generation, in fact. So what I just learned about to work with my own kids, I start like that 16 years ago with the biggest one, and then when I was about 4 years or 5 years ago, a woman come to me and asked me to, or she was very sure that I could help her to heal something special. So I never thought when I was learning this oral tradition that I will put it in service for other people. I really thought all the time that it was only for my kids and for myself and that, and finally understood that we have to do it, that we own that, and that the community deserves the possibility to have that information too, and the possibility to work with them. So I just have a few tools. I used to work with temazcal or with sweat lodge, as you know it, in Mexican roots, of course. I do a lot of work with Mother Earth. My connection with her starts with my pregnancies. And we had the beautiful opportunity to receive all the girls in our house. The last one totally in water. Since the second one, I was already in the shower and I didn't want to go out of there. I need the water. No, I don't want to go out. So I'm so connected with fire, with water, especially, and I can say only that I am a privileged woman, and that I have this honor to be connected with so many other women around the world, and I really like. I love to walk in feminine tribe or two. I don't know how really it's pronounced it in English. My English is not very good, as you could see. Sometimes I get missed or with the verbal um, times, and but here we have Sandra. So Sandra, please feel free to correct anything that can really be understand. Okay. And that is what I can share with you. I love to be mom. It hasn't been easy. It is the hardest part that I have as a woman here on earth. I love to walk in duality. We have been together 26 years old now, and that's what we are doing. We are doing. We have a lot of work. We understand that we have around 3 different elders uh, groups above us, and we do not direct ourselves as we just want. I mean, we are being guided by them, and that's more or less my work. Especially is with women. I had this service to open Yowal Siwat. Yowal is the night, is the dark, is the deep, uh, and see what in Mexico is woman. Well, in Nahuatl language is woman. So it is this woman that is connected with the night and with the deepest area of herself, and the work is the most of the time done by night. We used to celebrate equinoxes, solstices, and especially what we call the zenith pass, and we have 2 of them in the year. And for Mexico was so special that our ancestors decided to start the city Tenochtitlan in that time, in the moment of the Zenith Pass. So it is so something very beautiful. We receive the sun directly in 90 degrees, so it opens directly to pineal gland, and it connects all the physical body. For me, we have 5 bodies, and we call them all together in that moment. So what I used to do the most of the time is to work with the moon phases. That's the way we work with the woman here. And we do different exercises for full moon, for new moon. And I am also part of the menstrual worldwide organization. And that is why I met Gail, because through that organization, I arrived to La Voz de las Abuelas de las Américas. And here we are. So thank you. Your microphone is closed, Gail.
I'm curious about Suzanne's friend, Melin. We haven't met. Tell us about you.
Nice meeting you, everyone.
I think since you switched speakers, there is an echo when you're online, Gail. It's wonderful to be here. Susanne, thank you for inviting me, and over the last year she's spoken a lot about you, Gail, how you've impacted her life. So it's an honor to finally meet you and all of you others. Yeah, as you just saw, my cat comes. I'm very connected with cats. I think I would not do any shamanic work if it wouldn't be for them. They're my catapults. Every time I get stagnant in hesitating or going backwards, they've been here in my life. So I want to give them thanks, especially as he showed up when we're now gathering. Yeah, I'm a woman who has to discover herself, where I came from, what I'm doing. I'm very connected with the star nations and nature, so living in a unity with everything existing that has moved me forward, and that's what I support people in, embodying their own wisdoms, their grandeur. And yes, I've gotten from my ancestors the gift of singing. In 2012 was a big year, and since then that tool helps me remind others of who they are and what future they're supposed to be living. I would say it this way, because many of the people that come to me are those that bring the future to us. And so and because we have not had in the Western world, especially centrality, you've experienced in your culture more a collective education, tribal education, that we have lost, especially here in Germany over the last 2000 years, I would say. And so we have to find ourselves, and so there are many in Europe and around the world that have a difficulty exactly with that. They have not been seen when they were young. And also, I would say, another important change in my life was the birth of my son, because from that moment on I decided to live my truth, and that took me also on an extreme route of healing. But again, without nature, the birds, the trees, and I studied landscape architecture, so connected to it, I wouldn't be able to do the beautiful things I'm able to do for humanity, our beautiful planet, animals, and all above. Thank you for hearing me and seeing me.
Now I am eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Mayana. It's through Mayan's grandmother's Global Grandmothers Council Network, how I've met many of you through that, because it expands. I'll let Mayana tell you about that. So it's an amazing, amazing group that women only. So I'll let Mayana tell you.
Thank you, Gail. I'm such an honor to be here with you all. My journey has been very cosmic, and as I came to bring my cosmic awareness from I must say I was raised in Christian nationalism, so I rejected a lot of the standard teachings that are in the world and wanted to discover the truth of who I am by going within. I didn't have external teachers. I went within and learned from my own journey to get to know the beings of history, the beings of myth, and how I'm related to them. And in that journey of going way, way out and knowing myself in the stars, then coming back to fully embody that knowing, in that process, I was invited to lead the Global Grandmothers Council network that our beloved grandmother Suzanne Lewis started, and Sharon Raji Maynard. And I was invited to turn it into a nonprofit organization and lead it into a way for us all to gather and preserve the wisdom of our grandmothers and our elders. It's not about being a mother or a grandmother. It's about the wisdom we carry through experience. And I've really enjoyed the process. And so I met Gail through this. She immediately popped up. I met Sandra through this. She was immediately there. And it's been a really rich and fulfilling experience for me living in rural Virginia without community around me physically. This has become my communities. And from that work, other gatherings are coming around and other collections coming around. And Global Grandmothers Magazine, we've now been putting out for a year and a half almost. And just really preserving the wisdom that we all share. And I invite you all to submit articles to Global Grandmothers Magazine. There's a Facebook group. And my personal journey has been about the 12 around 1 pattern in Earth. I was guided by Barbara Marx Hubbard about her belief about community building through 12 sectors of society. I studied deeply about Jesus and the 12 apostles, the 12 disciples, and there were also 12 elders that were surrounding him. And I learned through my experience of getting to know myself in 12 different dimensions, the importance of the 12-strand DNA, the 12 star nations that came here, the 12 around 1, the we being the 1. And when that 1 is in harmony with all 12, then we begin to carry the 13 frequency, which is the number of the grandmothers and the feminine. And I'm just in the process of presenting the personal guidance system, which is a way to know yourself in 12 dimensions and be your own guide. And that will be coming out here in March and April. So thank you so much for this invitation. I'm glad to get to know you all.
And having said the articles about the Grandmother's Council magazine, I want to submit the roundtable to a future issue of introducing all of you and what we're doing in the first topic that we discussed. So beware. We may be published again. Thank you. Now, Yashohara, is that said?
Yashodhara, she's sitting in the train, so she won't.
Are you able to speak?
She can speak. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Soon I have to go to another train, but I can shortly introduce myself. I am a Dutch originally. I am living in Munich. I'm a very good friend of Suzanne. We met. Even my work is in Awakening Woman. And it's like a piecework also. We are coming in circles together as women, and I give trainings for women to lead circles. And I'm very honored to be with all of you here. And What should I say more in this short moment? Um, yeah, I'm right now a little short of words, but again, I'm very pleased to be here. And in the Awakening Woman, we are most of all looking at spirituality for a woman. What means spirituality for us women, as we are really very much been teach what spirituality is for a man. We are trying to discover, or we are discovering together, and not making it a dogma, but finding out in the circles what it means, feminine spirituality. And I'm fascinated by that. And so we are doing a lot with the goddesses, of the maps of Lakshmi, Durga, Kali, all the goddesses, Aphrodite, the European goddesses. So yeah, I keep it to that because my train is now going to come in Utrecht and I have to move to another train. So I'm very happy to be with you and hear you. And if I can, I will connect soon again, maybe even in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Much
Thank you.
love to all of you.
Bye-bye. See you soon.
Bye-bye. Yes.
Okay, let's go to Leela. She lives in my community or near my community. And we only met recently in the past couple of years.
Yes. Hi. My name is Leela, and I met Gail through an artist cooperative that we both belong to. And I have to say that you have such a presence that when I almost feel like I'm going to cry. When you look into someone's eyes, it's like you really see them and you're really present. And for so many of us, we're thinking about other things, we're rushing through our lives. And I've just noticed that with you, this very present. And that's something that is very much in my practice, in my life practice, if you will, is being in the moment of now. And it's something I have to constantly bring myself back into. And I think of my life as a meditation. I don't sit and meditate for long periods of time, but I consider even when I'm doing the dishes or especially when I'm walking in the woods, it's a meditation on presence. Excuse me. And so I also feel for the last, I moved to Canada about 13 years ago from New York, which is where I come from. And I've been kind of on a solitary path of practice and inner working on myself, releasing so much ancestral trauma. And in the process, I feel like I've been healing the ancestral lines. And that's an ongoing journey. Um, and so I'm so honored, first of all, to be invited into this group. And um, one of the things that I'm doing, which I left a lot out of my bio because I'm not very good. I guess it's self-promotion or something. But I have a YouTube channel and I've been offering these short videos as I'm walking in the woods with my dogs. And my mission is to just speak very honestly about how I'm dealing with what's going on in the world and to offer some peace and reflection on how, in the midst of all of this turmoil that's happening all over the world, the birds are still singing and nature of the earth is still so present. And that's another thing that I've been doing is connecting with the what I feel as a grid of energy around the earth that's really in the shape of circles, the flower of life, not a grid, linear. And when I get into that place, that connection, I feel myself connecting with people all over the world. I feel energetic signatures of other women and men too, and people who are also um, understanding how our energy radiates into the world and can create shift and change. And so that's part of my practice is sending love and peace when I'm in that place out into the world. And something else that has been coming up for me when observing situations, especially in the United States, because I'm kind of, connected there, is what I'm calling sacred rage at some of the actions that the cruelty that I'm seeing there, and feeling that that idea of rage is such a strong energy, and it's really backed by love, the love that wants to protect the innocent. And I feel at times like just this pushing back at that energy of cruelty. And I guess that brings me to something that I've been asking about that may be an interesting topic to visit here in this circle. I'm wondering, where does this come from? Where does this cruelty come from in human beings? Like why is that? Is it in all of us? And it's just that some people are really resonating with it, and many others are not. I feel more of us are not than are. Um, so yeah, I just keep wondering what is it in human beings that is wanting to continue in that kind of behavior, and how can we heal this within ourselves, especially when considering that we are one. And again, that's another thing that I'm trying to really feel into, is the feeling of oneness. And every now and then I get there in nature, especially when I'm on water in my kayak. There's something about the water that brings that forth. So anyway, so these are aspects that I've been considering, and it comes through in my writing, and also in the healing work and readings that I do with people to answer their questions and help with people to gain more clarity in their particular lives. So um, anyway, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Leila. Now, Ellen. I've known Ellen for over a decade, but I've known her family since I was a child, which only we recently discovered about each other. So I will let Ellen talk about herself.
Please unmute yourself, Ellen.
Finally, I was having trouble finding it. I'm really excited to be here. I feel very honored to be included in this circle of so many wonderful, beautiful energy people. I'm almost speechless, but I'll try to forge on. As Gail says, we've known each other for about a decade, but I can't actually remember when we met. It's just like we sort of merged together seamlessly somehow. I don't know, but there we were. And I think the last time I saw Gail was in September of the past. I had organized a dedication ceremony for a Tweed peace poem on my community here in Tweed, Ontario, in Canada. And Gail came. She honored us by coming and speaking at our ceremony, which meant a great deal to me and still does. Anyways, I'm starting to stutter because I'm so nervous. I would love to hear what Suzanne had to say about the Hathors, because I have worked with the Hathors myself, and I just absolutely adore that energy. I had so many other people have spoken that I feel I have affinity with in one way or another. Something each of you said resonated with me. So I'm really excited to work with you, especially when I think of the collective energy in the global community, and which is why I did the whole peaceful thing, because I firmly believe that it takes the square root of 1% of any given population to shift the energy in that population. And to me, a group like this can do so much. can do so much for the world. So I'm in 100%. And thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Now, I was going to have Suzanne go last, so I'll go before Suzanne. And most of you here already know me and what I do, but this is for the public once we share this recording to those who don't know. And my name is Gail Crosmaz, and my spirit name is Black Bear and White Raven, each given to me by at different times. And my background is Eastern Europe, Western Europe, Arctic, and Canada. So my ancestry goes across many cultures and many traditions and many beliefs. So I had to kind of sort through that to see what parts of it were me and which parts of it would work for me, and then which parts of it to let go, which patterns to let go. So it's taken me, I'm 72 years old, and it's taken me all of this time to do that. So never give up. Never give up. So I am a master drum maker, an author, performer, a teacher. I do many things, artist. I think the term to describe my personality is spicy neurodivergent. I'm a little bit of everything and a little bit hot, especially with Mexican food. Oh, I came home with spices. So yeah, this group. It was actually Suzanne's husband who does corporate type work with boards and advisory boards and professionals and experts, and he commented that this sounded like this was a board of experts, and I'm going, yes, now we have a purpose. That's why it took us so long to organize this, because I said it's not just about bringing everybody together, but why. We needed a purpose, and the purpose is this, is to share our wisdom on particular topics and then send that out into the world. And so let's have fun. Let's just have fun. And I'm going to now turn it over to Suzanne so she can tell us about her.
Thank you, Gail. Yeah, very quickly, I'm an author. I started writing 16 years ago, and I have a trilogy called Journeys with Anubis, because Anubis is one of my guides, the Egyptian god of the underworld. And I came to Anubis through Tom Kenyon, and I'm just mentioning him here because of the Hathors. He channels the Hathors, as some of you might know. And he also channels the Arcturians, and I'm very much into the Arcturians since 1.5 years. I'm going to Nepal in a month with a woman called Viviane Chauvet, who says she is an Arcturian. And she, at the moment, opens 12 star portals everywhere and then connect those star portals with our 12 strand DNA. And I find this just amazing, Mariana, as you just said that, because I don't really know very much about that. I was actually a little bit surprised that we have 12 strands. And so I'm right diving into that at the moment, and it's my passion at the moment. So yeah, I'm offering healing modalities, two major ones, Crystal Skull Method, which is channeled in Hawaii, and the other one is the Arcturian Healing Light Frequencies. But I'm an author mainly, and now the co-founder of the Academy. Thank you. And this topic was actually, yeah, I guess it was more my idea, because anxiety is a huge topic for me. And of course, as we all probably do or did, we go through our traumata the whole life, and we are, dissolving one trauma after the other. And so now I sometimes feel like I can't really distinguish anymore at all whether it's my trauma or whether it's a collective trauma. And this is why, one of the reasons why this is one of my topics. I'm I'm dealing with basically every day. It's balancing it out all the time. Every day I have the feeling like, okay, where do I find my balance? And what is this me? Is it my ancestors? Or is it something which comes from the outside and it's all one? But what is it? So that's the reason why I came up with that suggestion of that topic.
So since you segued into the topic, how are you handling collective anxiety through your modalities and belief systems and inner knowings? Suzanne?
I work a lot with the chakras above the head, and I work a lot with the chakras above the head. It's an Arcturian, it's one of the Arcturian methods which came through in the last years, which is you concentrate on the diamond chakra there, and it's like you strengthen the sacred witness. And through that sacred witness, I realize that there is a moment when something in me relaxes and just drops, and I know, okay, now I'm in my heart, I'm aligned again, and I'm not trying to figure out emotionally, mentally, physically what's going on. I'm just in my alignment, and then I'm out of the drama. That's my practice at the moment. Thank you.
All right, so continuing with that topic, let's move on to okay, Zentold. Cut you off guard. So how are you handling for yourself, your family, and your community the anxiety of what's going on around the world?
Sure, I have to share with you that I was a journalist, that I used to work in the news agency from Mexico in the international area, by the way. And so I love the news. I used to live by news. When I finished, because I did all my university with that scheme of work, or working that way. And then I finished and I started working with magazines because I love magazines. So the news were part of my life. And when I knew that I was pregnant the first time, I decided to turn off the TV. And I say, that's off. Because my girl, this beautiful new soul, doesn't need any of the news, that the news really all the times are only bad news. No? So especially for TV. So what I did was to start taking care of my environment. That's what I start doing in order to really be aware of where I was, how I was grounding. And when I was pregnant was when I was here now, Susana and Mayana. When I was pregnant, the first time was when I felt this call that was asking me to sit in front of my offering, like a little space like this, and to sit down and to align myself. So that is what I used to do. It calls my attention that you mentioned, one of you mentioned, I don't know if it was Ellen, that what was the amount of people that we need in order to develop a change? I don't remember who of you was, but I just take this theme and I use it a month ago, I think, on the radio, because I do online radio with somebody from USA, and in Spanish, by the way. And I was doing my research through some of the through some of the elders that I know. How many people do you really believe that we need in order to do these kind of changes? And I was at the time reading this beautiful woman that talks about her red or green fingers. Um, I forgot her name right now. And but the one that talks about the woman circles, Shinoda Bolen. Yeah, is it correct if I say it like that? Shinoda Bolen. Do you know Shinoda Bolen? She is an author, and she has this beautiful book. I don't remember the name in English, but it's something like el millonésimo círculo. So that may be something like talking about if we create so many women circles, it may come the time when wouldn't, or when we will have this possibility to do this change. In my philosophy, talking about oral tradition, is the Nahuiolin. It is a system. And it's what you may also know as the medicine wheel. So we have the four, 1, 2, 3, 4 directions and the center, and like something like this one, like the the one we have there, more or less. But we have the principles are 1, 2, 3, 4, and the center. Yeah. So in our philosophy, we understand that only 9% of the people in the world will have the possibility to come into consciousness, real consciousness. And that is what we know or we understand since the beginning. Of course, that percentage of people has a big task in order to also help and guide the other percentage of the people on Earth. Now that I was also hearing Leila, this question that she has about what is it going on? I have done that question to myself when I become mother because I couldn't believe there were kids that I mean, you ask yourself as a mother, in what part of your timeline you miss the path, no? And you go to the other path. So it's kind of complicated. And I have been asking the most of the questions that you have done now. And it has been very beautiful. I understand finally also that we are in a third dimension where everything is duality, and that in order to understand the peace, we need to have war. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an option to really understand and to value the possibility to vibrate in this space of peace. No? How do we manage collective anxiety? Basically, we ground. We have a lot of information in the Nahuiolin system in order to be connected here and now. Here and now. And my responsibility is my own, the way my energy is vibrating right now. That is my main responsibility. I try to not to vibrate into fear. I have been doing a lot of work with women to disconnect ourselves through this idea of to be all the time activated by fear, fear, fear. For some, I see the fear, and I also see this lack of or this connection with the idea of to be surviving. We don't need to be surviving. No, I mean, especially, and I can talk about the 9 that we are here. We have a space where we live. We have Wi-Fi. We can be connected. We have meal to have. I mean, we are surrounded by privileges. So we need to really understand that, to focus on that, and since that part to say, okay, what is it that I can really do and to give to my community? What is it that I can really do and to help, especially the little kids? No, but because there it comes this question: where was the time of the path where you went to the other side? No, we need you here. We need you as part of these 10% of people that can come to consciousness, or 9%. No? So that's more or less the idea. And the way when this energy starts asking me to get connected with other people and to share with women, I said, what the hell am I gonna share? It was I don't know. So I feel a sort of energy that comes like in my back. I'm talking about my column that we call here Kowat. Kowat is like the serpent, the way the energy moves on Earth. And I feel this energy that almost pushes me a little when it's really important that I pay attention into something, or that I place my time and yes, and my energy in service for some sort of cause. So it happens that say, okay, start doing this, start sharing something very easy. And that thing that was very easy was the way I used to align myself all the days when I was pregnant. So that is why I start sharing. And that is what we do on new moon, full moon, with different situations, but we do align our bodies, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetical body. And finally, when I am totally aligned, of course, I am totally grounded because I am taking my roots to Mother Earth. I am taking all my energy to Father Son. So I am totally aligned. And that's our best way to be here, connected here and now.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's move on to Sandra. And how are you handling yourself with the collective anxiety that's happening around the world?
I think I've given myself a text, literally. And because I'm an English teacher and I'm an actor, and I think language and meaning and what I really mean when I perform or pronounce even a syllable, I'm so hyper aware of almost surgically now editing and revising my text, my script, that's like a container for me. And it has evolved through from October, from previous to October 7th. I mean, these cataclysmic, historic events that have affected the world, I think, shaken the world, I'm trying to personalize. And so my text has gone through revision and revision and revision, trying to refine the who am I part of it. And the more I have confidence in literally pronouncing, projecting the language of my message, which is peace, of course, which is the protection of children, which is the mother protecting her child, and how she does that and how she's prevented from doing that, the more grounded I become in my daily life. I am so privileged. I am retired. I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about, I've worked all my life. I've achieved where I want to be so that I can give back and give service. And my template for that, my container for that, and it involves certainly all the grounding exercises I learned as a young actor, training in all of the tools, the physical tools that we have as beings. Um, it all comes back to a very specific container for me. Um, and then when I'm aware of how limiting that is, I go back to my life and I go back to my daughter and my husband and the life that we all live in a way that is non-selfish, non-egotistical, because the rehearsal process can be so egotistical. It's a solo performance, it's just me, and I have to balance the ego, my confidence with my humility. And I think my whole life I've been balancing both. What permission do I give myself to speak and be heard and contribute? And how do I sit in my humility of being a part of the interbeing of all of my wisdom sisters and brothers?
Thank you, dear. I've seen little clips of your play, and it's very, very passionate, very passionate. All right, Melin, how are you handling collective anxiety for you, your family, and your community?
Oh, to make my home a medicine. So it starts with me living my truth and honing it and getting clearer and clearer on it each day. Brings extreme calmness. Also knowing that I'm connected to everything. That means I'm never alone. This brings a lot of calmness. And breathing, right? If there does come something up, and sometimes, there's a level of frequency up and down a little bit. Yeah. Taking in the breath, exactly feeling that. And even practicing to exhale longer and longer and longer, and the count maybe by 50 and longer, and the stillness within that. Right? And so that radiates out into everything. The wind takes that into the world. So I'm noticing when I focus on me and making decisions to be me and to do that, it goes out into the world. And it's a really interesting question. I just had a friend call me. She asked me, what do? You don't get upset with everything that is happening out there. And I think I'm lucky, since I'm a girl, a small girl. I see the positive, the goodness of each human being, and I see what is behind, or I sense and I believe. So I always see we're getting to a beautiful place. And that is what always pulls me and draws me. So I don't really look around too much. And even if I look at news, I do look at news once in a while, I acknowledge. And I see where are we going, what is there. So rather objective, compassionate. This is how I do it. And inviting others to join me, and expressing the way I am, and inviting, people to come, as you said, in the community or on the podcast, or I do lives wherever I can, or go into networks. So it just can radiate. I don't have to do anything. It's the presence. And I think all of us here, we have this presence. I think and to believe in who we are, and to express that sovereign into the world, and that we're here exactly for that, for this calmness of understanding, enveloping someone with our love, with our light, and that's all that is needed. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, dear. Thank you for your input. The world will love your message, I am sure. Let us go, Mayana. And how are you and your family handling the collective consciousness?
Well, this is our work every moment of every day. I didn't say that Peace Production is the nonprofit that oversees the Global Grandmothers. And my partner, my beloved Andras, says there's only one peace to produce, and that's in the heart of humanity. And we teach breath work. We have the vagus nerve of the human body connects all of our glands and organs, and it's also what feeds our aura. The vagus nerve is the last physical sensation that we have that extends out as large as our aura. And when we do breathe, and we breathe out slowly, and we come into that, it's the breath that will heal the vagus nerve, which is where our triggers for flight, fight, or freeze are found. And the vagus nerve of humanity is in flight, fight, and freeze most of the time. Leela mentioned sacred rage, and I want to share an experience I had the other day. I had a really challenging local legal experience with one of our nonprofit programs. And I was sitting here at my desk, and I saw in my mind's eye this huge cobra with its mouth open, ready to swallow me. And my first instinct was that great rage and to cut off its head. And then I thought, wait a minute, it's the year of the snake. I don't want to back up, look at it carefully. Is that the right action to take? And then I was reminded of Thoth's teaching in the Emerald Tablets that if something is outside of you or inside of you, and how to know whether it's inside you or outside of you, as Suzanne was talking about. And it was obviously outside of me. And I felt that serpent rise up within me that was soft and gentle and loving and fluid. And I knew, yes, cutting off its head is the right thing. In response to the conversation about why is this in humanity? Why is this great evil in humanity? It's not just our duality. It's not just that there's duality and so we have to have this evil. It's we wanted to know how low can we go into the physical form and still remember who we are. Well, we went too low. We went too low in frequency and we forgot who we are as a species. And I've asked questions, and when I ask questions within, I get answers. And the answer that came to me about this was in the story of Cain and Abel. And that in the Garden of Eden, that was a genetic experiment. And the first child born of that genetic experience became a murderer. And what was done with him? Because this was a patriarchal, we're trying to create slaves. So what was done with him was he was sent out to spread that disease into the land of Nod, where the artists and the musicians and the creators lived. And he was marked so nobody would ever kill him, and he would spread that. And it has spread to now. And here we are in the fullness of what that frequency has done to humanity, coming back to ourselves and remembering that it doesn't have to be that way. We don't have to allow that to be what leads everything we do and everything that we are. If something is outside of us, we have the authority of whatever we see to cut it off. If you can see it, you have authority over it. And we have the responsibility, the ability to respond with loving kindness. I learned that by breathing with intention as a group, that's power. It's very powerful. And that, as Sandra said, every word we speak is a spell that we cast. And all of the things that we have been told are bad about us as women and not acceptable and not worthy, all of them are our gifts and our strengths. They're our talents. They're our way of healing Earth. Because the vagus nerve of Mother Earth is what we connect to when we go to the sacred spots, when we gather together in ceremony. And that is how, when we breathe together in those spaces and we heal each other and we come together in our hearts, we are enough. We're enough. And we've reached the tipping point, and the serpent that has shown itself as the killing serpent is dead, and it is gone, and we're watching it all fall away in our culture and in our society. The stress that is in the air that we breathe through pollution and mind belief systems and thoughts, we can just bubble the ever effervescent frequency of loving kindness, as those monks showed on that walk. And we are healing the world right here, right now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, Shohara, are you able to speak? Have you got your next train yet, or should we move on to someone else?
Please move on to someone else. I
Okay.
am on this platform. It's difficult here to speak, but it's very interesting to hear you all.
Okay, we'll come back to you then, dear. Okay.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Okay. Leela, how are you handling the collective anxiety of what's happening in the world?
Well, one of the ways that I handle it is when I'm able to kind of zoom out into like a more cosmic perspective, like actually, it's like I'm calling on my soul to remind me of the multidimensionality of my being. And I feel someone spoke about Arcturians, probably more than one of us here did. And I have a very strong connection as like part of my soul family, it feels. So it helps me to remember that I'm so much more than myself here in this life. And so that helps. And also, it gives me the feeling of, yeah, I came here for this right now, for what we're going through. I came here for this experience, and it's really quite extraordinary. Another way that I help myself with the anxiety is gratitude. It's so powerful to, I mean, I live in a beautiful place with these woods that I walk up into with my dogs. And like right now, I have a cat on my lap. Two dogs are here on the floor, and my other cat's somewhere around here, and they help too. To and then other practices like painting and knitting is very relaxing. So there are tools all around, I feel. And um, I had this odd experience the other night before going to sleep. I was laying there, and this feeling of panic and dread and anxiety. It's like I'm circling this well that goes into that despair. And I used to feel that a lot more often than I do anymore. And it would come to me when I was on the edge of falling asleep. And um, as I felt that, I was aware, like, oh, there's this again. I haven't felt this in a while. And all of a sudden, I was just filled with love, and I felt myself going off on a path away from that, whatever that is. So that's something now that I'm speaking about it, I feel like I want to explore what is that well of despair. It felt very ancient, and something in the collective psyche. So, um, but I consciously chose this other path. Consciously was able to bring love in, and suddenly just go off and drift off into a peaceful sleep. So I feel like we have tools all around us, and yeah, the comfort of nature and animals, but also I think that gratitude is really an important piece. Gratitude and zooming out into the bigger picture of what's going on here. And when that happens, when I do that, I really feel like I'm not alone. And that's when I can connect with that grid. And I can, now that I'm aware of all of you here sharing this, we can connect with each other anytime. And that feels so loving. So thank you. That's what I do.
Thank you, Leila. All right, Alan, you're up.
Oops. So, yeah, what do I do? First of all, I don't watch the news. I haven't for decades. And that takes, I mean, if you don't know about it, you can't worry about it, right? I also like what Layla said, the macro perspective from like outside our planet. This is this has all been foreseen. We knew that we were here. We know we're here for a reason. We know we're here to help with this transition. We know that it's going to work out in the end. I surround myself with like-minded friends. I make sure that I keep my own energy high. I don't get sucked into the drama as if at all possible. I try not to get sucked into the drama, which I'm pretty good at for the most part. And I guess the term I've been using lately is a calm observance to help get through it all. It's just almost like a waiting for it all to realize. So I don't feel any urgency. I don't feel any stress in particular. I'm just here. And that's it. That's all I do. My friends are a big help, and groups like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Yeah, so how I handle it is pretty much a little bit of each and every one of you. Everybody has said bits and pieces of how I handle it. I was told a couple of times, two different Buddhist psychics and wisdom keepers and lamas that I was born with Buddha consciousness. And I said, well, I'm not Buddhist. I said, yeah, well, whether you believe that or not, you were born with Buddha consciousness. You know things, but you don't know what you know. You live it without, you practice it without even being taught. You just live it. And so I started, delving into that and found out that my Mongolian ancestors were Buddhists. I was like, oh, well, that explains it. So, like the monks, and I followed their journey, and I thought, yeah, exactly. It's not about, anything other than just living it. And then, of course, realizing the great expanse, and we're all here for our dharma, for a particular purpose that we signed up for, as did everyone else. I mean, this is my belief system, and not everybody believes that, but we're all playing our part, the good and the bad, the black hats and the white hats, the bad guy, the good guy. We all signed up for a act in the play, and we're all fulfilling those roles of shifting the planet. And even the bad guys are showing us the evil in the world. For those who have their head in the sand, say, well, there's no evil in the world. Well, no, yes, there is. And they're showing us that there is evil in the world, and the effects of that evil, so that we can have the compassion and empathy and awareness of what is going on behind the scenes, and what part do we play in that, of changing that, of shifting that, of being in that peace. And it's like I said before, I'm 72 years old, and it's taken me this long to get there. And the daily practice, because I live with my two daughters and my two grandsons and my son-in-law and two dogs, and it makes me think of a cartoon I seen several times, and shows a monk sitting in the temple, all zen and in prayer and calm and in peace. And I said, yeah, okay, can you maintain that frequency sitting at the dinner table with the family? That's a whole other ball game. And that's my practice right now, is maintaining that peace in the middle of this chaotic, crazy, loud, dysfunctional, functional family. And keeping the calm in that, the compassionate disengagement of what is going on outside my world, and what's going on inside my world, and what's going on inside of me. To be disengaged and look at it from both sides, from the duality point of view. Okay, this was felt very disruptive. This felt very negative. This was very challenging. And then okay, what is it trying to show me? What is it trying to teach me? What kind of action is it asking me to take? Not a reaction of anger and or fear or running away or shaking my fist. It's what action can I take? And an action in a positive way. How, and in my case, like Leah said, I look into your eyes and I see you. That's my action. I look into your hearts and I see you. Even those who push me away and reject and dismiss, and I look into their hearts anyway. And I thought, all right, well, there's something that's happened in your life that has caused you to react this way, but I will still continue to send you my love and affection and compassionate disengagement and not judge your reaction because you're reacting to something that I know nothing of. And I send the strength for you to cope with that, however you need to cope with that. So yeah, it's about the monks and how they walked across the continent there in quiet contemplation, in peace, in prayer, and that is a frequency I'm attempting to maintain. And it's a daily thing of maintaining it. There's always something come up and say, are you sure you can maintain it today? I will tell you though, I recently had knee surgery and I had to do physiotherapy exercises, strength building exercises. And the first one in the booklet is the deep breathing. And I go, well, yeah, I do that deep breathing. But now I do it through every single exercise, every single count, every single hold. And so now I'm deep breathing 80 minutes a day. Wow. Talk about change your attitude and your perspective on life. It's like, woohoo, I'm great. I got lots of breath in me. Yeah, so that's how I'm maintaining, and the World Peace Candle, of course, too, and how it affects. Because I brought the flame from Canada to Mexico in November to sort of reignite that energy of the four directions, bringing the two directions back together in solidarity because of what we're collectively going through in close proximity of the neighbors. And so that was one of the things I did was bring the peace candle to Mexico on that last journey. I think that's all I have to offer now. Yoshihara, are you able to speak or?
No, I won't be able to speak.
Okay.
I'm just in the train now, but that's no possibility that I can speak. I'm happily speaking next time, but I'm with you all.
All right. Well, we will be gathering again in April, and we'll send that out.
Right. Yes, looking forward.
Okay, I'm going to end the session, the formal session, with the blowing out of the World Peace Candle flame. And I want you to join me in that collective consciousness of sending our breath of peace across the world, across your part of the world and the world beyond us. And we send peace from our hearts. Even if you don't have your candle, be part of my candle as we blow out the flame and send the compassion around the world. Ho ho. Thank you all for this first gathering of the Roundtable Advisory Panel sponsored by Academy of Timeless Wisdom.